But specifically in that case, they say you should more or less take a more humble point of view and let people sort it out themselves. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion is I completely disagree. I don't want to live in a society like that. I want to live in a society that's inclusive, that is respectful of every single individual that lives in that society. I don't think that my problems are just mine. My problems are just as much the Dutch state or Norwegian state or British state's problems as it is my problem. If I'm being abused or I'm being brutalized, it is absolutely not just my expectation, but it is the duty of Western society to take action. If not, this is the consequence. Basically. No, I mean, to me, if you don't, then you're I mean, people keep... Even I've heard this so many times now that, you know, Deeyah, I'm not a racist. Deeyah, you know, I'm trying to be really understanding and respectful of all these various diverse cultures that are in our societies, and therefore I do not want to get involved in the abuse and violence against women and minorities. And to me, if that is your attitude, then you in fact are being a racist, because you're saying that women who look like me somehow do not deserve the same rights and the same protections.
For a lesser package of
yes, I mean, we cannot segregate, we cannot resign our responsibility to every single individual that lives as part of our society. If we do that, this is the consequence of that. How can we possibly look away and say, only Muslim people get to deal with Muslim issues, only Sikh people get to deal with Sikh issues?
I think in practice, even more specific, it's not only people that are not from that community that cannot speak out, but also people who are critical of that community, they have to get the same treatment. You know, because it looks like somebody who's still within the boundaries of that culture, they're the only ones who can speak out. But that's, you know, that's judging.
No, I think we need to decide what kind of society we want to live in. If we want to live in a plural society, an equal society, a just society, a democratic, open, free society, then we are all responsible for each other. There is no resigning responsibility. There are no get out of jail free cards when it comes to the basic human rights of every single human being that lives in our countries.
But do you encounter, when you sort of on your quest for women's rights, that you get less support from Western feminists than you should get, because of that sort of wariness to get involved, to get really involved?
Yes, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, we barely touched on it in the film, but just did it very briefly towards the end. You know, I've definitely noticed a very real and a very significant tendency that seems to be coming from the center left, majority liberals, a lot of liberals within the West, including in that a lot of white feminists who feel too fearful or feel too cautious and like it's perhaps not quite their business to get involved in the abuse and the mistreatment of women within minorities.
But have you tried to dissect that state of mind, that psychology behind that? Because you encounter that a lot, obviously. Have you tried to figure out why they think in such a way?
I think there's several reasons. I think one is just general apathy and a lack of understanding and ignorance. I think another reason is fear of consequences and consequences and punishments that they might face if they get involved in something that they cannot.
Punishments in what sense?
In negative reactions, maybe they will be branded racist, maybe they will be branded insensitive, maybe they will be branded as hate-mongering, maybe they will be branded as right-wing, maybe they'll be branded as something that they do not find appealing for their identity. And lastly, I think...
Vanity, basically. Vanity.
Yes. I think it's a cop-out, personally. I think it's a complete cop-out, and I, in fact, think it is very often the third reason. And the third reason, I feel that it's a very deep, deep-seated racism. It's a deeper-seated racism that says equality is okay, freedom of expression is okay, non-violence is okay, but just as long as I get to enjoy it. That Muslim girl does not get to have it. Because the reality, nobody says that, but this kind of caution, this kind of cautious behavior The fact of it is, that must be what it's born from. Otherwise, what is it? Otherwise, what could we possibly justify looking the other way or pretending like we are oh so careful and oh so polite while an entire segment of our society gets brutalized and slaughtered in our own country? Mm-hmm. If it's not racism, what is it? What is it?